Okay, a family tie is like a tree. It can bend, but it cannot break. A family tie is like a tree. It can bend, but it cannot break. Then, home affairs are not talked about on the public space. Home affairs are not talked about on the public square. And the old woman looks after the child to grow its teeth. And the young one, in turn, looks after the old woman when she loses her teeth. Now listen to this. The old woman looks after the child to grow its teeth. And the young one, in turn, looks after the old woman when she loses her teeth. This is the 61st episode of African Cocktail. Welcome on board. Okay, good afternoon to listeners of African Cocktail in Monrovia and of course other parts of Liberia. Our hearts go to listeners of the show in Freetown and the rest of Sierra Leone. Then, we are thinking of our friends of the show in Conakry and of course the rest of Guinea. Then, good afternoon to African Cocktail listeners in the entire Nigeria. We stay with victims of Ebola and of course the countries struck by this pandemic. This is the 61st episode of African Cocktail, which we are dedicating to these four countries. And whenever you get this voice at this hour on Wednesday, know that you're listening to African Cocktail. Welcome to the 8th episode of your darling show for phase 2 of 2014, which is of course the 61st episode since we started the show in May of last year. And just like we say all the time, African Cocktail is that party on radio that brings you all the niceties of the beautiful African continent. So how much of Africa do you know? How much of Africa do you eat? How much of Africa do you wear? And of course, how much of African entertainment news do you get to savor? Then, how much of African music do you dance to, listen to? These are the kind of questions we do well to answer just on this show. African Cocktail is a mixture of the best values you can ever think of coming from Africa, and in this 61st episode of the show, we continue to show love and of course concern to Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea and Nigeria that have come under the heat of the deadly Ebola disease. And as the death toll rises, efforts to contain the heat have stepped up. Sons and daughters of the affected countries are awake. No sleep until Ebola is kicked out of Africa. Then, material donations have been going on, but more education is needed. One of the ways through which this education is needed can be through music. Some USA-based Sierra Leonean musicians have waged a war against Ebola in the studio, and the result will be a well-packaged track that will help educate people against this deadly pandemic. Sao Bangura is one of the persons promoting this initiative that has just taken off out there in Maryland. She tells us more about this project just right ahead in this 61st episode of African Cocktail. So don't go away. And on Africa Radio's African Cocktail, we talk Africa in an African manner. And as Africans, we have the prime responsibility to market Africa. And of course, talking about marketing Africa in a purely African fashion, Africally Speaking, an online magazine that focuses on the Africanness of Africa, has undoubtedly occupied from the front compartment of the African train that has been rolling towards the development of Africa. Described by some observers as a veritable African queen, Ngum Ngafor is the publisher editor of Africally Speaking. She has been credited for a brilliant African perspective in the way she runs Africally Speaking. She accepted to be our main guest in this edition of African Cocktail, and of course she will join us from her London base to give us more light on Africally Speaking and of course her Africanness just in this edition of African Cocktail, so don't go away. Okay, other guests in this edition of African Cocktail include Anorin Mwenembom, star in the award-winning Nina's Dowry, If Everything Goes On As Planned. Then we shall have the latest Cameroonian rap star, Sienna, who will be talking from Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. Then we shall listen to Suzy Okum, an up-and-coming gospel singer who will be talking from Garoua, Cameroon. Then movie artist and Egyptian actor Ahmed Medad, whom we missed last week, may be joining us in this edition of African Cocktail, just like Germany-based Nigerian actor Main Peace. Then our regular slots, the Belgium Report with Titus Banyo, the Central African Report with Ifana Kuala, and of course Solomon Atta South Connect will be yours in this edition of African Cocktail. Meantime, I'm this sumptuous 1110 studio of Africa Radio alone. Africa Radio is located at the northern part of the city of Columbus. My name is Ernest Kanjo. I will be having a main guest in this edition of the show who will be talking from London. Her name, Ngum Ngafor. She is a media executive. As young as she is very knowledgeable about the African continent. So she's our main guest in this edition of African Cocktail, and at exactly 9 minutes past 10, let's move to London and find out if Ngum is already with us this morning. So if you are listening and you are with us, could you indicate your presence, Ngum Ngafor? Welcome to the 61st episode of African Cocktail.
Hi Ernest, hello everyone. It's morning for you, right? So good morning to you.
Sure, it's morning. And how's London today?
London is great. We have sun, we've got the sun. It's a little bit breezy, so yeah, it's great weather out here.
And what about the London Bridge? The famous London Bridge?
Well, it hasn't fallen. It's still here.
Right. Okay, Ngum. So how is the Cameroonian community doing out there in London?
The Cameroonian community in London, I think, is doing fine. You know, we're quite diverse. Right. Initially, when I first came to the UK in the 90s, there were mainly Anglophones coming here, and a lot of Francophones went to France or Canada. Right. Now we have a more diverse community. We have a lot of Francophones here. Just the other day, on Saturday, I bumped into this woman who is, I think, Bamileke, and it was quite interesting because the way I could tell that she was Cameroonian is because she had the kaba on, which is a very unique dress style to us. Yeah.
And I also understand that Cameroonians have the very good habit of putting on their traditional attire and going to country meetings, even in the diaspora. So, to which one were you on Sunday?
I didn't go to one this Sunday, but well, I'm from Bafuchu, in northwest Cameroon. Right. So the group that we belong to is known as Mbuka. Right. If you saw me in any country meeting, that's where I would be.
And do you get to prepare some achu out there?
Well, I think I can do it. I've seen it done that many times. I think I can do it.
Her name is Ngum Ngafor. She's the publisher editor of Africally Speaking. She's the main guest in this edition of African Cocktail. I'll be back with you. You and I are going to run the show. You from that end and Ernest Kanjo from Columbus, Ohio. Thank you so much for indicating your presence, Ngum.
No worries. Sounds great.
Okay, that's our main guest. She will be back. Meantime, my name is Ernest Kanjo, regular host of the show, asking you to sit back, relax, and of course enjoy every bit of what we shall be presenting to you this day on Africa Radio. And as usual, we are going to begin the show by thanking God for everything, because it is thanks to Him that African Cocktail is what it is today. So wherever you are listening to us around the globe, just bow down your heads. Let's say thank you, God. And we're going to do that in a special way, music. This one is titled Momo Ya de Momo. It's by Le Colombe de Bonamusadi. It's a choral group.
Nous l'a dit Salomon, autrement appelé Ecclésiaste. Salomon fut un grand roi, l'un des plus grands que ce monde n'avait jamais connu. Par conséquent donc, Salomon a tout eu, Salomon a tout vu, et Salomon a tout fait. Mais au moment de faire le bilan de sa vie, Salomon déduisit que ce monde n'était que vanité, ainsi que tout ce qui s'y trouvait. C'est donc ce message-là que la chorale Colombe de Douala Bonamoussa dit la grâce vous transmet en vous interprétant Momo Yab, Momo Si et le Momo.
Qui n'a pas d'importance. Pour la si ballon de zéro, English ballon de new, Awusa ballon de Babu, Bassa ballon de Dojam. Because of the tennis, Mia Kalana for sur le monde là. Momo ya Momo, si nous les hommes. Momo ya là, si nous les boya Momo. Mon sang est jamais là où elle y m'a mis les dames. Ali m'a fait ma pour me le mettre. Domane ya konde ye pai kiteni chami nyumi anga ya sabelia anga pume sabana vet ya bege bila bolika de conférence générale ara wanga suyo na galbani conférence benefis majona mengayon ni manule jinda bomboi jameye mayisi masana wa kele kuyo mayo meye la
Father, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, we want to praise your name. Most High God, you are the creator of everything. And even the ones we think that we have created, they are created by you. Father, you are the master, you are the voice. You are the great mind, you are the initiator and the pilot of this show. We are only humans created in your image and assigned to do it in your honor and greatness. Father, make this show an avenue for good and positive things. If this show can provide the answer to somebody's question, Lord, let it be. If it can propel someone to the reality of their dreams, Father, let it happen. If only we can pray and it happens, Lord, we will be happy. We only pray for energy, wisdom, and the breath to be able to continue doing it. Thanks for your endless love and grace. Bless everyone listening to African Cocktail now, Lord. Through your Son we pray. Amen.
Madame Cécile Ibani, Révérend José Lingongo, Tonton Dani, Otupol.
Beautiful gospel piece there is done in the indigenous Ewondo language, and of course you listening to Africa Radio, and the show is African Cocktail. That group is Le Colombe de Bonamusadi. Bonamusadi is a neighborhood in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala, and this is African Cocktail, the 61st episode coming to you from Africa Radio. Don't just go away. Lots and lots of interesting items coming up. And talking about the latest information from our beautiful African continent, I must say that it is with a broken heart that we are learning that the death toll of the current Ebola crisis going on in Africa has risen above 1,000. So as we speak, more than 1,000 people have lost their lives to this unexpected pandemic, and it is really causing a lot of hard times, hard feelings among Africans. Of course, untold hardship, I must put it that way. Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea-Conakry, and of course Nigeria cannot be in one piece as we speak, because the people living in those countries are really threatened, you know. And I can imagine the people out there, they can't move around freely, they can't talk to their family members freely, they can't just go about with their daily activities freely because of the dangers of this deadly virus. So, over 1,000 people dead, it means that something really has to be done, and done urgently. Last week we had two Sierra Leonean daughters here on the show who told us how efforts have been made to avert or help victims of the crisis. And we hear efforts have continued with donations going on from here and there. But then, musicians have also been putting their voice in it. And of course, you know, there are people who are influential in our society. They are like opinion leaders. So they've come on board and are ready to engage the fight full length. And we're going to be talking to a promoter of such initiatives shortly in this edition of African Cocktail. Just give us a few seconds. Let's get to Maryland to meet our first guest in this edition of African Cocktail. Her name is Sao Bangura. Sao Bangura is a young Sierra Leonean who lives in Maryland. She promotes a lot of Sierra Leonean initiatives. We're going to listen to her just right ahead. So listen to this, then we'll come back.
Africa.
I love you.
I love you too.
I love you. Le panafricanisme Junior Senga.
Mais oui.
Yes, we can.
We did it.
Yes, we can. Oui, nous pouvons vivre ensemble. Vivons ensemble. L'Afrique a besoin de nous.
L'Afrique a besoin de nous. Il faut vivre ensemble. That one is titled African Unity. and it's done by Cameroonian-born Junior Senga and Ivorian-born Mewe. It's a beautiful piece, beautiful Makossa piece. We're going to come back to that. Time for us to move to Maryland and receive our first guest in this edition of African Cocktail. Her name is Sao Bangura. Sao Bangura, like I said, is a promoter of civil society initiatives in Africa and, of course, her country, Sierra Leone. So, at exactly 21 minutes past 10, let's move to Maryland and say welcome to you, Sao Bangura.
Thank you.
So, I know you and I can laugh, but deep within us, we are not quite happy.
No, we're not. This disease, Ebola, is really stripping us right now from the West Africa, and it's really affecting my country, Sierra Leone, right now. So I'm frozen. I mean, right now, I'm just saddened and disturbed.
And we hear the death toll has risen to over 1,000. So this continuous rise would have stripped sleep off you, I guess. So you don't find time to go to sleep these days, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's kind of disturbing. I don't know the total death score right now on the disease. So I can't say much on that, but it's very disturbing that we're going through right now, especially West Africa, Sierra Leone. We really disturbed and tormented because our family are back there and they're really suffering, and some of them don't know exactly what to do.
Right. Now, you are a Sierra Leonean performing artist and promoter of many initiatives. You are part of a song project on Ebola, which has been going on out there in Maryland. Now, tell me, are you done with the recording of the song yet?
Well, basically, I'm an upcoming actress and a promoter. I'm not an artist, but I usually support any group that are doing great things in the community. Yes, we're doing a song about Ebola, and no, we have not finished yet. I'm putting together the lyrics and the songs together.
Right.
So we're still working on it. We're still asking artists to send their lyrics in because it's different artists that are sending different lyrics in so we can do this wonderful song. To teach our people, not only Sierra Leoneans, but also West Africa, about Ebola.
Right. So whose idea is this?
Well, this young lady, her name is Natasha Beckley. She's a former Miss Miss Sierra Leone, I'm sorry. Right. And she's also an artist, a rapper. She came up with this great idea that I thought that was wonderful, and so I was on board right away and to support her.
So, what precisely are you saying in this song, or what will you be saying in this song?
Basically, the song is about Ebola. As you can see, that's what we're talking about right now. And it's basically teaching our people back home how to to prevent themselves from Ebola.
Right.
What they need to do, what they not need to do. So basically, we try to send lesson through songs, through lyrics, and basically I know that music is the soul of the heart. So I know that people will listen to it more and learn from it.
Right. So do you have a working title for this song yet?
It's on the process. We haven't actually finished it yet because we're still waiting for a couple of artists, good artists, to send their lyrics in. I know it's going to be something about Ebola, but we haven't, got to that particular point. Soon.
And so who are some of the artists who are going to feature in this SOS track?
Well, we have Miss Sierra Leone is a rapper. We have JR, we have Menace, we have Fatima Kuruma, we have so many different, they're not off my head right now, and I apologize if I don't call their name. But we have very good artists that, the song is going to be great. I can't wait for me to call back and so you can play it in.
Right. Concretely, so how do you intend to use this song to fight Ebola? How is it going to circulate?
Well, I like that question. The reason why is everybody loves music, old, new generation, old generation music, and usually music teaches us lessons, tells a story. It let us learn from it. So Ebola, basically, if we talking about Ebola, telling people to wash their hands, to be very protective of, sharing equipment and, different stuff. Just imagine it's in a song, you're listening to that song. It's going to teach us, our new generation that are very stubborn, teach them about Ebola. Our old generations that don't want to change to the new ones, also teach them about what is going on right now. So basically, I'm loving this project because it's going to teach all generations to be preserve about Ebola and learn not to do a lot of things that spread Ebola.
I would imagine that an initiative like this is not chocolate, because you have to bring artists together and you have to follow the normal procedure of production, which means that definitely you have to have the means to be able to do that. It means that some financial means has to be, to get on board. Do you have that means to be able to compile this song?
Yes, we have. We've been really trying. Natasha and the rest of the group have been really trying to put stuff together. And we're so happy that the moment that we ask other people like clubs to use their venues to come together and do this project, they're willing to help. They're willing to, give us their venues for us to use it and put our project together. So we have this club in DC named SIP that, have been great at us, gathering us in their place for us to do our project. It's kind of hard, as she said, to put all these artists together, but we're really trying, and some of the artists are working with us. The ones that are out of state, we're asking them to send in their lyrics so we can combine it and put this wonderful song together.
Right. So today you are fighting Ebola through music. Are you envisaging the same thing through a movie, since you are a performing artist?
Yeah, this is going to be in the future. I don't think it's right now because we don't have the, let me say, the 99.9% sources about to tell the story about Ebola. We can guess right now because even us as a country, as a West Africa, we are guessing and we're trying to help our people. So I don't think it's a good idea to do anything right now. But in the future, definitely, you'll definitely get something from us about Ebola.
So I want to thank you so much for joining us and talking about this crisis and the efforts you are making. Before you go away, do you have one last word to Africans in the diaspora and even the public at large?
Yes, I do. I want to tell all my Africans, whether you're from East, South, North, all over West Africa, let's all come together and fight Ebola. Let's put our differences aside and let us tell our people back home that Ebola is real. Let's just say, let us don't depend on the government. Although the government is trying, they're doing their best, let's just still come together and fight and help our own people back home. The government can do so much, but it's up to us as Floridians, as West Africans, to reach our own people, teach them, call them, talk to them about this upcoming disease. And I'm pleading to my own people as Floridians, please, Floridians, put politicians aside and let's fight Ebola.
Put politicians aside, let's fight Ebola. Thank you so much, Sao. Thank you so much. I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Okay, that was an SOS message from Sierra Leonean actress Sao Bangura. She's based in Maryland here in the United States of America. So whatever you can do, whatever thing you can do, wherever you are around the world to help victims of this deadly disease, please don't hesitate. Just do it. Okay, this is African Cocktail, the 61st episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have good news for you as your nutrition specialist. I recommend you eat fresh farm produce that will give you and your family good health, energy, and vitality. I suggest you shop for all your family food products at A Life African Market. Yes, A Life African Market. They sell the best farm produce that will help you and your family live a healthy and energetic life. Shop for all your food products like fufu, yam, rice, meat, chicken, plantain, cassava, and many more. Located at 4384 Cleveland Avenue. Again, 4384 Cleveland Avenue. A-Life. Eat fresh. Spend less.
Africa. I love you.
I love you too.
I love you. Le panafricaniste Junior Senga.
Eh mais oui.
Yes, we can.
We did it.
Yes, we can. Oui, nous pouvons vivre ensemble. ensemble, l'Afrique a besoin de nous. Mettons-nous ensemble pour changer notre histoire. J'aime mon pays Africaï. Mettons-nous ensemble, l'Afrique a besoin de nous. L'Afrique a besoin de nous. Oui, l'Afrique a besoin de nous pour changer son passé. Aimons notre pays Africaï. Mettons-nous ensemble, l'Afrique a besoin de nous.
Hey, Africa needs us, sons and daughters of that beautiful continent. This is African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio with Ernest Kanjo this day, August the 30th, 2014, with the publisher editor of Africally Speaking, Ngum Ngafor, who is the main guest in this edition of the show. And we are very, very musically African in this edition of the show because we are going to go the African direction. I'm talking about Africally Speaking, whose publisher editor is the main guest in this edition of African Cocktail. Let's move back to London and find out if Ngum is on the line so that we can begin our conversation this day on Africa Radio. At exactly 28 minutes to 11, let's move back to London. Ngum, you're welcome once again.
Thank you very much, Ernest. Yes, I'm right here.
Right, so I may know who you are, but somebody listening to you from Santa, listening to you in Douala, Cameroon, or Freetown, Sierra Leone, may not know. That person may just be coming across you for the first time and would definitely want to know who Ngum Ngafor is.
Okay, that's not an easy question to answer, but I'll try. Who's Ngum Ngafor? I am a Cameroonian. African, global citizen, if you like, and I live in London. You already know what I do. I publish and edit Africally Speaking, which is a chronicle basically of development in Africa happening through innovation. So I think of myself as an innovation chaser. So yeah, and I just love Africa deeply and just want to do my own bit.
Did you grow up in Bamenda?
Oh yes, I grew up. For people who are not from Cameroon or who don't know Bamenda very well, it's a small town, okay? It's a small town in northwest Cameroon, very lovely, quite hilly, nice and green. It's kind of a grass-filled town, so lovely savanna, grassland, and it's a really... it's somewhat conservative place to grow up in, but a really nice place. When I grew up in Bamenda, there was much of a community spirit. I think it's still very much there. So yeah, I had a great time growing up in Bamenda, in a little area called Aziri, which for people who grow up there, they kind of know the vibe.
and Ngum, are you of the Tumbu Boss Calabar generation or the EO Cow generation?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I went to government school. When I was a kid, I went to government nursery school and then on to a Catholic school. So we were very much of not the kind of posh education that schools like PNEU brought. So yes, we did have exposure to all these really local games like Tumbu Tumbu, which is kind of like Western children call it Ini Mini Mini Mo. So we did that. We played with stones. We skipped. We had this game called dodging, which is I think what Americans call dodgeball. And yeah, we had many really interesting games that kept us busy as children.
And we have a Cameroonian artist who is regurgitating those sweet moments. His name is Stanley, and a winner of the Afrima Awards. Well, we'll come back to that some other time. Ngum, could you just tell us about your educational background?
Okay, so I've kind of started off that. I did, after I left primary school, I went to Catholic primary school and then a Catholic secondary school. I had about 14 years of Catholic education, which I'm still trying to get over. So I went to Catholic secondary school called Our Lady of Lourdes, which is an all-girls school. In my hometown, it's a somewhat famous school in Cameroon. And then I came to the UK. I came to another Catholic school called Loreto Sixth Form, but this time it was mixed. And then from on there, I studied, initially trained to be a nurse at the University of Manchester, and then decided that I liked journalism and went on to study journalism and politics at Salford University in Manchester. So I'm one of those typical Africans with 2 degrees, right? And so now I live and work in London, and this is where Africally Speaking comes from.
And you are a trained journalist. Radio, television, no. Print, yes. Why did you choose to do the print media?
I have to say, I did a little bit of radio when I was a student, and I still kind of like to dabble in radio.
Right.
But yeah, I think print just because I have a very deep love of words. And I'm somebody who is very affected by words. I know how powerful words can be, and I know the kind of message that words can convey. I just love to play with them. So doing print was very, very natural to me. And I think also I was very inspired by the kind of good journalism that I saw coming out of Britain. It almost seems now an inevitable choice for me to have made.
I know scores of journalism graduates who don't just have interest in the profession anymore. You know, they are found in other fields. But then you decided to pursue news gathering, writing, and dissemination. Where is that inspiration coming from?
I think it just comes from, I'm always very interested in people. I don't know, I think as a child I had a very deep love of stories. I mean, I even remember an uncle of mine. You grew up in Cameroon and you know how important meat is to food, right? And I had this uncle who would say to me, give me your meat and I'll tell you stories. So I think I was a very protein-deprived child because I used to give my uncle all this meat so he could tell me stories. So I think I always just liked the idea of hearing people's stories and, you know, finding out why they do what they do. So I think that's where my interest in news gathering comes from.
So for how long have you been running Africally Speaking, and what motivated you to create this magazine?
Africally Speaking has been going now since April, so it's still a fairly baby, really. And my motivation really was just that, you know, I've been writing about Africa for a long time, since I was a journalism student. And also, just if you're an African living in the West, you get exposed to a lot of negativity. It's not that it's not accurate, but it's just this, you know, focus on what is negative. And so it gets to a point where that image is almost a caricature of Africa as you know it, and you almost don't recognize this thing. So as a young person in my late teens, early 20s, I used to get really angry about this consistent negative portrayal of Africa. And so it occurred to me one day that you can't just complain, you know, you have to do something. So this was my motivation really to go and study journalism. And when I was writing about Africa, I was uncovering really amazing stories. And then the more people I met, particularly after in the era of Facebook and so on, I just realized that there was a thread that was linking all these Africans that I really like. They were innovating in one way or another. They were, you know, either taking something that had been done before and looking at it in a totally new way, or some of them were even inventing. So a lot of these people I knew because I was going around looking for them, but I found that other people didn't know. So I would be in a gathering and I would say, oh, you know such and such a person, and people wouldn't know. And then I thought, this is madness. You know, more people should know about these people, and this is how Africally Speaking came to be.
Right. And the first thing that caught my attention when I came across this magazine was its name, Africally Speaking, and one would imagine that Africally Speaking should be all about Africa. If not,
they'd be right. They'd be right. And the name, it comes from a really unlikely place, right? If you grow up in the 80s or 90s in Cameroon or pretty much anywhere in the world, you'd be a huge fan of hip-hop. So there's this American artist who's called Fabulous. I don't know where he is now, but he came out with this song called Holla Back in the 90s, I think, or early noughties. And I really liked that song because my sister had gone to America and brought it back. And it starts with this kind of nice high-pitched flute that goes dun, 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 dun. So I always had that ring in my head. And then I was thinking of doing this program to profile Africans who were doing extraordinary things. And then one day, just, you know, singing that song and having that ring in my head, the words Africally Speaking just came, and then I thought, you know what, it actually sounds nice, because if you're going to talk about technical stuff, you say technically speaking or scientifically speaking, so why not say Africally Speaking? And I tried it on my friends, and they thought it was a clever word play, so yeah, I decided to go with it.
Ngum Ngafor, we'll come back to you. A beautiful conversation there. We're definitely going to learn quite much about Africa from you this day on African Cocktail. Thank you so much. We'll be right back with you.
Yeah.
Okay, and for those of you out there who have car problems, please don't worry any longer, because your car issues will be solved. So stop thinking about your car maintenance, oil change, turn-ups, tires, and many more. Cast your car burdens onto Quality Auto Services. Quality Auto Services provides full-time engine servicing, repairs and replacements, complete auto maintenance, oil change, tire change, and rotations. So Quality Auto Services is specialized in all cars. And if you have a problem with your car, don't just hesitate. Bring it to 5599 Westerville Road, Westerville, Ohio 43081. 5599 Westerville Road, Westerville, Ohio 43081. Quality Auto Services opens every day, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Then, if you want to get to them through telephone, you simply have to press your fingers on 614-446-0773. 614-446-0773. And of course, walk-ins are accepted. Quality Auto Services there, they simply tell you that you will smile. Okay, let's listen to some music, then we'll be right back. This one is dedicated to all my friends in Freetown and the rest of Sierra Leone, especially those victims of Ebola. Her name is Felicia, Lady Felicia. She hails from that beautiful West African country. And that one is titled Sweet Africa, coming to you from Africa region. Of course, the show is African Cocktail with your friend Ernest Kanjo. Just right ahead, we shall be moving to Douala, Cameroon to meet one of our up-and-coming artists. Her name is Sienna. We shall be right back. Africa, beautiful peace day coming to you from Sierra Leone. We are in West Africa. We shall definitely be coming back to that beautiful peace. Time for us to move to Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. And of course, in Douala, we have this up-and-coming artist. She is a rapper par excellence. She is so talented. And she has just released her latest single, which is, of course, the second in her career. Her name is Sienna. And before we get to Douala, Cameroon, I'll enjoin you to listen to this.
Green when I pass through, I pass all the people where they ask say I pass through. I know they make mock me, I know they beg Bob. They recap what I trust before I lock them up. Yeah, who does them? My enemies are all though. Who ain't gone through, but I'm telling you when that's off. No, they confused, I go blow your tap if you spend up with money. What else do I need? Get down to business. It's about time that I render you useless. Nonsense, I give you rhymes to digest. And I kill you with one slap like insect. Past tense, I make the beat myself. I need no DJ, I can record myself.
And that one is titled Ozel Chiengo. Uzele Chiengo is a production of Beat Bora.
When you're looking at my shoes, it's dead glad every time I come a bush. Girl, you always be ready for Boppy man and tush. Man, you hustle hard all night, me at the bush. Live, I'm mad for business. Nobody can stand me when I hold my Guinness. My mister, my heart on your album. Pass me.
She's been described as one of the finest rapper in her generation.
When I like when your man they talk, though I'm not stupid. Rappers are funny, some rappers get hungry. Boy, I get the money, they act, they no time me. But they no say anyway I pass them. Good names, yeah, be the no say I go burn them. Cause they don't know the fucking way they green. CIA and errors, they be rotten. Let them try it.
This is a special dedication to my very good friend Cynthia Tabe, who is listening to us from London. And this beautiful rap piece was released a fortnight ago.
Just before I lock them up, yeah, does and my enemies are all though. Ain't got trouble, I'm telling you when that's up. No, they confused, I go blow your type of fuse. Spend up with money, what else do I need? Get down to business. It's about time that I render you useless. Nonsense, I give you rhymes to digest, and I kill you with one slap like insect. Past tense, I make the beat myself. I need no DJ, I can record myself. I produce myself. No guy by my side again, they myself. When you're looking at my shoes, it's dead glad every time I come a bush. Girl, you always be ready for Boppy man and tush. Man, you hustle hard all night, me at the bush. Live, I'm mad for business. Nobody can stand me when I hold my Guinness. My mister, my heart on your album. Pass me the throne, cause I'm lonely in my kingdom. I spin on the mic and let it breathe. When I like when your man they talk, though I'm not stupid. Rappers are funny, some rappers get hungry. Boy, I get the money, they act, they no time me. But they no say anyway I
I also want to dedicate this special piece to my very good friend Prince Oro of Pom Radio. He's listening to us in the UK right now. Prince, I want to say, I caught you cafe. All right, this is Africa Radio coming to you from the United States of America. We're broadcasting from Columbus in Ohio, and of course the show you're listening to is African Cocktail. We have difficulties getting to Douala to talk to Sienna. We hope that she's going to come back, but then looks like it's time for us to move over to the northern region of the country, precisely in the city of Garoua. And of course in Garoua we shall meet an up-and-coming gospel artist. Her name is Susie Okum. Just right ahead in this edition of African Cocktail, you shall be listening to this other young African who is making great strides in the arts she knows best. I'm talking about music, but then just listen to Uzele Chiengo.
Africa Radio, bringing Africa closer to you.
Are you looking for a one-stop shop with a friendly and caring service in the community? Then A&G Commerce is the place to be. Hi, this is Golda. I want to invite you to visit A&G Commerce Limited. We provide money transfer services, bill payment, money orders, and phone minutes. We also carry phones, 220-volt appliances, televisions for Africa, African groceries, beauty products, and many more. Our address is 5775 Cleveland Avenue. Our phone number is 614-437-9776. We're open from Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. We're closed on Sundays. A&G Commerce, the place to be. A&G Commerce, we're here for you.
When I pass through, I pass all the people where they ask say I pass through. I know they make mock me, I know they beg bop.
Okay, we are back with Ozele Chiango by Siana, because the artist has just joined us from Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. Siana is back on the air. So, Siana, if you're listening to us, then welcome to African Cocktail.
Hello. Thank you, Ernest, and big up to everybody who is listening to this, and I wish you a happy afternoon. Hope you're enjoying the show.
Definitely, Siana, they are enjoying the show, just as they were enjoying that beautiful one, the title Oziele Chiango. Is that, somebody said is Bangwa, am I right?
Yeah, that's Bangwa.
Wow, that's beautiful. So, you're an up-and-coming rap artist whose single we just listened to is prominent in the news now. I must say that. First, let me know, how did you come about this particular single, which is already making news around the place?
Well, I wanted to come up with something new, something to pass a message to everybody. So I decided to use the vernacular Bangwa because, everybody nowadays, I'm trying to promote the culture too. Because many people sing in Douala language, in Bamileke, so why not in Bangwa? I decided to come up with something new to promote the culture to do the Bangwa. And at the same time passing the message to the public.
Now, I must confess that I like this song. And in a recent article on Tip Top Stars online magazine, the author of an article on you summarizes the message in this track as a reminder to whoever the message is destined to that they are no match to whoever the message is coming from. So, what is this true meaning behind Oziele Chiango? What are you telling us in the song?
Okay. First of all, I want to use the opportunity to thank Tip Top Stars online magazine for that article. But Oziele Chiango is not directed to any particular person because it's a message I'm trying to pass on to the public. I want them to remember their worth and their esteem. So it's not a particular tribe to somebody. It's not destined to somebody. It's destined to everybody. It's not like I'm having something special with another person. So I'm just trying to let them know they can grow bigger and bigger and even better, to have the self-confidence and be confident in their abilities, because no one else would.
So this single was highly publicized. How long did it take you to work on it?
Well, the single was recorded last year, but we took we had that last year. The beginning of this year, that's 2014, we finally decided with the PR team that we are going to promote this, because we recorded a lot of different tracks, and we had to decide on which one to promote, and finally we chose this at the beginning of this year. It was very difficult. A very difficult decision.
So why would you decide to do songs of universal genre of music in a mother tongue? How would consumers of your songs in other parts of the world be able to decode the message? Somebody listening to the song in Nigeria, for instance, is expected to understand what you're singing. And in Bangwa, would that not be difficult?
Well, I don't think it's going to be difficult, because just look at something, we listen to Nigerian music, we listen to them singing in Yoruba, in Igbo, and we even listen to those from Tanzania. It's their mother tongue. So if you really want to know the meaning, I think, because I'm working on the lyrics, I'm translating it, I don't think it's difficult. We sing a lot of songs in different mother tongues. If we really want to know the meaning of it, I think we just have to come closer to the artist and know that it's also, I think, it's the best way, because we are not Europeans. We are trying to promote our culture. That's Africa, so we should try and promote Africa.
Right. Let's try and promote Africa. Sienna, is almost 2 weeks since you officially released this single. How has it been doing out there in Cameroon? How is the public reacting to it?
Well, the public reacted very well, and I really want to thank them. And my team too is very, very pleased. So I thank all those who have listened to it, all those who commented to it, and all those who shared. I really, really appreciate this. This is a big shout out from the team. We really appreciate what you guys are doing.
Right. Let me take you back a little bit. When did you decide to get into music professionally, and what inspired you?
I got into music about 4 years ago. I was being inspired by my passion. Like, I have this passion for music, and the serenity, it brought me to the serenity brought me, like, how can I say it? You know, I have this passion, because you can't just do music. You can't just get up one morning and start.
So, do you operate under any label? Hello? Hello? We're sorry about that. We lost Sienna there. We're about to run off our conversation with the talented rap artist. Young, yet so talented. Well, we will have her back on this show some other time. But for now, she's out there with her latest single titled Ozele Chiengu. My Bangwa is not that good. Right. Well, this is African Cocktail. Let's ride on with music. Then we brace to get our next guest on board.
Aneso Mandela o Singani Rema Bana Bongo Feliz Mubeo Singani Sia Magana Bongo Wara Magabero we Para Shala Tangana Singani Sia Magana Bongo Wara Magabero Singani Rema Bana Bongo. Je suis votre libérateur. Je vais mourir pour vous. Quand je regarde l'Afrique, avec tous ces problèmes, je me demande Africa, mais quel avenir. Quand je regarde l'Afrique, avec tous ces canapés, je me demande Africa, mais quel avenir.
Okay, this is the 61st episode of African Cocktail, and if you have noticed, we are musically African today. Musically African, which means that all the songs we are playing on the show today have something to do with Africa. You know why? Because we are Africally speaking. I'm talking about Africally speaking. The publisher editor Ngum Ngafor is the main guest in this edition of the show. Just right ahead, we shall be moving back to the UK to continue our conversation with her. Don't just go away. It's a fantastic edition coming to you from Columbus, Ohio, and of course from Africa.
Regardez l'Europe, partout là-bas c'est la joie. Mais chez nous en Afrique, oh la chasse au pouvoir. Mais chez nous en Afrique, oh, c'est la dictature. Chez nous en Afrique, oh la guerre civile.
Chez nous en Afrique, c'est la dictature. Longer, that beautiful one titled Ayo Africa. He is a Pan-Africanist there. Okay, we are not going to listen to that beautiful song in entirety because we have to go back to Cameroon, and precisely in the northern city of Garoua, where we have a young artist ready to tell us about her career. But then before we get to Susie Okun, listen to this.
God is gonna change somebody's life. Just believe it. Yes, He will. God will open the doors for you. Just when you think that you lost it all, He will make a way for you out of the way. Yes, He will. God will open the doors for you.
God will open the doors for you. That one is titled Yes, He Will. It's by Susie Okun. Susie Okun is a nominee of the African Gospel Music Awards, which is coming up in just a couple of months. And of course, we are going to talk to that artist in this edition of African Cocktail. Don't just go away.
He breaks off the chains. He will set you free.
And the video of this beautiful gospel piece is a salty piece of job done by Cameroonian filmmaker. His name is Takon Delvis. Well, at exactly 3 minutes past 11, let's move over to Garoua, Cameroon, and meet the artist, the author of this beautiful one titled Yes, He Will. Her name is Susie Okun. Susie, you're welcome to African Cocktail.
Thank you. I'm very honored to gather the girls.
So, Susie, how is Garoua this afternoon?
Well, we're having a cold weather right here, which is something that is rare as we are used to hot.
It's strange to...
But today it looks like it's going to rain.
Definitely, it's strange to learn that Garoua has a cold weather because as far as I know, Garoua is a very, very warm place. However, we have you on the show today. So, you are a gospel artist, and you just released Yes, He Will, which is your newest track. So, tell us, how is it doing out there in Cameroon?
Okay. I'll first start by thanking you for this wonderful opportunity. And secondly, to apologize for not being there 2 weeks ago. As you rightly said, yes, this is one of my newest tracks,
right,
which is out right now, and I think it is doing great based on the public's judgment, on the positive remarks I've been getting, and how it is inspiring people's lives. I would say it's doing wonderful. It is great.
So, the video of this track has been described as unique and classic, and I must confess that I love it. So tell us, what did it take you to put all of this together?
Wow, I really love the description, unique and classic. That really makes me feel good. I'm honored. Thank you. What we've used to put together, I want to say, is the grace of God. After our prayers and fasting, He gave us the inspiration, and He gave us the money, the time, and the resources to put together. So in a nutshell, I would say it's thanks to God Almighty for the time, the inspiration, energy, and finances to put this project together. Yeah.
So, who are some of the gospel artists you've worked with so far, Susie?
Okay. The truth is, I've been working a lot since 2007 to come up with an album, which right now I've released just 3 singles. And during time 2007 to 2010, I worked with Lixman. Lixman is one of the renowned gospel artists in Cameroon. So now that's the only gospel artist I've worked with, but I'm open to working with anybody who is passionate about gospel music and wants to take things to another level.
I'm talking about passion for gospel music. Lots and lots of young people are getting into it these days. How would you describe the evolution that is taking place in the gospel music industry in Cameroon?
Well, the truth is that gospel music, from my questionnaire I've been moving around my findings, people are like saying that gospel music is a kind of boring kind of music. It's not interesting, so youth are far away from it. When you get to the industry, you don't see so many youth involved in gospel music. They are so much into worldly music. They say it doesn't pay. I wonder if we're doing it for the money. But describing Cameroon music and gospel music industry, I would say it is a rising industry. Because right now, we're seeing a lot of changes and a lot of artists coming up doing great music, great tracks with quality music. And I'll say in a nutshell, it is a rising industry. Even though it's slow, but I know with time things are going to change and people will start seeing gospel music at another level. So they say all the gospel artists in Cameroon.
Right. And talking about people making efforts in this genre, I must say that most gospel artists are beginning to be known all over the place. You recently got a nomination at the African Gospel Music Awards. Now tell me, how did you react when news of that nomination got to you?
I didn't get you well, please.
Yes, I said you recently got a nomination at the African Gospel Music Awards that is coming up in a couple of months. How did you react when you got news of this nomination, please?
Well, when I received this nomination, when I heard of it, I was really, really surprised. I was like, oh my God, I haven't done anything and these people are nominating me. I haven't started my proper promo, my album is not yet out. I was really surprised and I was really, really, really happy.
Right.
I was really happy.
And so, did you expect it?
I did not expect it. I wasn't expecting it. I was just as surprised as any other person. I was really surprised, but I'm happy that I was nominated.
Right. Seriously, Susie, if people must vote for you, what should they do? And why do you think they must vote for you?
Okay, first of all, I would say, why should they vote for me? The first thing is that it's not about me. It's about me representing Cameroon gospel music. And I think the product that we sent out, judging from the public's point of view, I think they are worth the nomination, no offense. And certainly, I think I'm a person who is hardworking and inspired, and I love to inspire people, make people happy. And my main aim is to make people see the reason why they have to worship God, and in a nutshell, win souls for God. And as what concerns how to vote, you have to start by logging into the website voting page, which is www.africagospelawards.com/vote.html. You click on the vote here, which opens another page. Then you click on start vote, which opens the nominee page in their various categories. Then you scroll to Central African Artist of the Year, where you get my name. And then on the circle beside my name, to the open in brackets Cameroon, you click on that circle. You scroll down, continue scrolling down till when you get to enter your email address. Just need to put in your email address, and then you click on the vote page. Then you'll be giving me an extra vote.
The message has gone through, and she loves to make people happy. Then, I want to be made happy. Susie, could you just make me happy with a 10 seconds a cappella?
Okay, 10 seconds a cappella. That means I'm going to sing a very short, just the chorus. Okay, here we go. I'll sing the chorus of the song which is most popular right now, which is Yes We Will. Here it goes. God will open the doors for you. Just when you think that you've lost it all, He will make a way for you out of nowhere. Yes,
He will.
Yes, he will. Thank you so much, Susie Okum. Thank you so much. And we wish you all the best. Have a fantastic rest of the day out there in Garwa, Cameroon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's an honor. Thank you very much. I feel so blessed. Bless you and bless the program.
Thank you.
After the sorrow and pain, then comes joy. Hold on tight to your God. Don't let go, 'cause you'll never fail you. Will open the doors for you. Just when you think that you've lost it all, He will make a way for you out of the way. Yes, He will. God will open the doors for you. Just when you think that you've lost it all, He will make a way for you out of the way. Yes, He will.
Just when you think that you've lost it all, God will open the doors for you. Her name is Susie Okum, and that one titled, Yes, He Will. She was speaking to us from Garwa, Cameroon. Garwa is the headquarters of the North region of that beautiful Central African country. And for those of you just joining us, this is the 61st episode of African Cocktail with Ngum Ngafor, our UK-based media executive, as main guest in this edition of the show. We still have lots and lots of interesting people who are going to talk on African Cocktail this day. So don't just go away.
Then comes joy. Hold on tight to your God. Don't let go, 'cause He'll never fail you. God will open the doors for you. Just when you think that you've lost it all, He will make a way for you out of the way. Yes, He will. God will open the doors for you. Just when you think that you've lost it all, He will make a way for you out of the way. Yes, He will.
Okay, beautiful piece there from Susie Okum. Time for us to continue. Let's go back to our African music ride. And this one is titled Negro City. It's by Espoir Demil. It's a popular Ivorian group.
Afrique d'un fier guerrier, Negro City, oh, I love you, oh, Angelo Kabila. Negro Grolé, cheveux crépus, oh, joli guerrier, oh, I love you, oh, vieille même à Céline. Tu gardes ton nom par-ci, tu gardes ton nom par-là, à la bordée de l'univers, oh, l'Afrique se meurt, oh, c'était le black and white. Negro a souffert mais c'était mal le connaître. Negro a combattu pour arriver au black and black, devenir stade de la guerre. Negro yako, yo oh eh, yo oh mama yole eh, mama yole. Les ballons, Sino Sena, Manu de le boss.
Les Ivoiriens qui chantent plus qu'ils parlent. Non, ils parlent plus qu'ils chantent. Okay, that one is titled Negro City. Ngum Ngafor is back on the line. She's the main guest in this edition of African Cocktail, publisher, editor of Africally Speaking. Ngum, you're welcome back.
Thank you. I've been enjoying the show.
And so what do you cover in this magazine?
Well, Africally Speaking is really about innovation. So I cover anything that's innovative about Africa. Because, historically, a lot of the time when you think innovation, you think technology, particularly when people are talking about Africa. It's great that all these techies are coming up and doing amazing things. But I think that innovation is really in our blood as Africans. We've been doing it for such a long time. So I'm looking at people who are innovating in any area, socially, in technology, in business, just anything. And so far I've been able to cover really amazing things. I mean, my first ever interview was with a guy called Teddy Rouge, who's from Uganda, and he is basically using funding from the diaspora to start up this. He's done it actually. He's started up this really fantastic agribusiness and been able to empower local farmers. The most recent article I did, which I would urge everyone to go on www.africallyspeaking.com and check out, is about a lady from Zimbabwe called Precious Simba, and her thing really is to educate and empower young girls to just really reimagine themselves in the way that they contribute to society, breaking social stereotypes and really doing amazing things. It's just wonderful, the stuff that I see and stuff that I get to cover.
So, two major unfortunate incidents have hit the continent within the last couple of months. We're talking about the Boko Haram's abduction of over 200 teenage girls in Nigeria, and Boko Haram, I must say, has continued its attacks on communities. Then we have the deadly Ebola crisis that has hit some 4 African countries. What is Africally Speaking's reaction to these? How much space did you devote to these 2 unfortunate incidents, Ngum?
Oh, I think I've devoted a lot of social media space to that, right? Because we're virtual. So we actually have our features out every 2 weeks, and then in between we share news on our social media spaces, Facebook and Twitter. So we have been kind of on the ball with all these things that have happened from Boko Haram. We're as outraged as everybody else about what was going on. We were constantly posting updates. I was speaking to people in Nigeria and getting the Nigerian viewpoint, because I think part of the problem was that people didn't really understand the social context within which all these things were happening. So we tried as much as we could to post information that sort of clarified this for other people. And then same with the Ebola crisis. As soon as it became clear that this wasn't just a one-off thing, this was a problem, Africally Speaking got onto it. So if you go on the Africally Speaking Facebook group, Facebook page, or if you go onto the Twitter feed, we are constantly updating about Boko Haram, about Ebola, be it what governments are doing or what the WHO is saying, or advice to people on how to look after themselves, and even just because of the nature of the what we are as a publication, looking at innovation, looking at business and all these things. We're also looking at the different angles in which it affects people, because already you have things like, just the other day I put something online about South Korea stopping Nigerian students from coming in. So while we have a very pressing health problem here, which we must solve, the ripple effect is unbelievable economically, socially, and in just so many other ways.
So how would you describe the writing in Africally Speaking? Is it soft writing, moderate, or hard?
That's a really difficult question for me to answer, because I don't think I'm a hard person at all. So I would say it's not hard, really. It's kind of in the middle, because I'm really, at the moment just interviewing people, getting facts, right? Trying to be analytical. There will be times when I need to challenge people, but I don't really think that the writing is hard. I think because we're evolving as a publication, and I think at some point we will get to the point where we have opinion pieces. You will see you'll see much harder journalism then, because people can really, put some very strong views forward.
So Ngum, I would imagine that Africally Speaking doesn't do this tedious journey all by itself. Who are some of your partners, and how exactly do you work with them?
Oh, yes, thankfully we don't. One of my major partners, if you see all the beautiful imagery that goes on with everything we put out, is by Akinyele Designs, which is run by Adewale Akinyele, a very good Nigerian connection of mine. He is a partner for us. And then also I have Kathleen Dongmo, who basically manages works with her brand now, Kathleen Dongmo. She used to run the Word Shop, which was a copywriting agency, and she still does a lot of branding under her name now. So Kathleen was really tremendous in consulting for Africally Speaking in terms of how the brand was going to look like, a lot of advice on communication. So those are the two main people. And I have to say, also my friends, my family, and just everybody who has supported Africally Speaking has pretty much been a partner in this journey. People give me feedback. They give me ideas. I really like to thank somebody else, Joe Che, who was just amazing in his critique of Africally Speaking when I first put the idea to him. So, yeah. So that people have been wonderful.
Right. And if potential sponsors need to know, what would you tell them is the strength of Africally Speaking for them to come on board?
Oh, I think the strength of Africally Speaking is just that Africally Speaking is looking at Africa, not just from a base angle, not just from the surface. It's kind of digging deep into this continent and kind of really wanting to look at a 360-degree angle, but also looking at Africa from a very refreshing angle, from which I find a lot of people, particularly between the ages of 21 to 45 or maybe 50, can connect, because a lot of Africans now at home and in the diaspora are looking for opportunities in their own country, looking for opportunities in what's going on the continent. So a lot of these people are educated, they are smart, they are a lot of them are upwardly mobile. They are ready to get up and go. So that is the kind of constituency that any smart brand wants to be looking at, and you can connect with them on Africally Speaking.
All right, her name is Ngum Ngafor. She's the publisher-editor of Africally Speaking, a frontline African online magazine. Ngum, thank you so much. We'll be back with you.
You're welcome.
Abakade Quality Auto Services. Joe Boy, Judging Drain on Chroma Stressy, and Judging Drain Sano, Sakana problema. For Coma Quality Auto Services, what the answer with the kind of Bemao, Uni how crab, say oil change, tune ups, engine repairs and replacement, and not tire changes, or better than cast your car burdens onto Quality Auto Services. Now best smiling. Quality Auto Services, our 5599 Westerville Road, Westerville, Ohio 43081. Phone number 614-446-0773. Obie Amapanon Crow, from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Quality Auto Services. Best smiling.
I'll always remember you like a child, girl.
Negro City, oh, I love you, oh, Angelo Kabila. Negro Crone, cheveux crépus, oh, joli guerrier, oh, I love you, oh, demain ma chérie. Tu gardes ton nom passé, tu gardes ton nom pas là, à la portée de l'univers, oh, l'Afrique se meurt, oh, c'était le black and white. Négro a souffert mais c'était mal de connaître. Négro a combattu pour arriver au black and black, devenir stade de la guerre.
Espoir 2000 there telling us the African story in that beautiful one titled Negro City. They are young Ivorians who have made it big, musically speaking, and we shall be moving to South Africa, precisely in the great city of Johannesburg. Johannesburg, where it's exactly 5:25 p.m. And of course, in Johannesburg, where we have our permanent correspondent who runs the South Connect slot from that end. His name is Solomon Atta. And of course, Solomon will be telling us about the National Women's Month, which is August. Then the National Women's Day, which is the 9th of August. And of course, how women have been faring in that part of the world this month. Solomon Atta, welcome to African Cocktail.
28 years ago, the year was 1956, when 20,000 South African women from all walks of life and all races marched onto the Union buildings in Pretoria to hand over a protest memorandum to Prime Minister Strydom. Among the key demands was to ask the Prime Minister to exclude the women from the past laws and also to release all leaders of all political formations. That single event proved to be a key moment in the women's movement and in the history of this country. The march has also contributed in creating a different consciousness amongst women and gender issues in South Africa. In 1994, as the democratic dispensation is ushered in, the 9th of August every year has been celebrated as National Women's Day. As such, the month of August has also been dedicated to the women of this country. This yearly event is used by government to reiterate its policies towards the protection and the advancement of women. The event is also used to point out the various contributions and the huge role women play in the life of the nation. Civil society organizations echo these calls in a bid to highlight the issues affecting women. To talk on these agendas are issues such as gender-based violence, especially that which is targeted towards women and girls. As the crowd gathered at venues across the country, President Jacob Zuma, who was keynote speaker at celebrations at the Union buildings, called on all South Africans to continue to work in order to fulfill goal number 3 of the Millennium Development Goals, which is promoting gender equality and empowering women. As the country pulls the curtains on the 2014 Women's Day celebrations, the question remains whether MDG goal number 3 will be met before the 503 days deadline. This is the Solomon Atta for African Cocktail in Pretoria.
Solomon, you are not going yet. One question for you, Solomon. Our main guest in this edition of the show is a media executive who runs Africally Speaking magazine. I just want to find out how women are doing in that sector in South Africa. Do we have women who operate in this business? And how has the South African media environment been to the woman, Solomon?
Yes, Ernest, there are several women that are participating in the magazine sector of journalism here in South Africa. Most of the magazines in South Africa, like you would remember the very famous magazine, the Drum magazine, right, has been here since more than 50 years, and there was a film made on that particular magazine and its journalistic exploit by a film director called Zola Maseko. Right. Recently, over the past 7 years, there is a magazine that has been published called Destiny Woman. This is like a high-end magazine targeting the young professionals and also the seasoned professionals. And there are several others like the Afropolitan, which is targeting and talking to the specific black middle class or the African middle class, whereby you have professionals and well-educated people. So, yes, there are several magazines. In fact, South Africa is a very flourishing environment for magazine and also for the magazine business.
Right. Solomon, thank you so much. We hope to have you again next week for yet another handsome package from Johannesburg. And that was South Connect with our man, Solomon Atta. Then for those of you who have just joined us, you're listening to African Cocktail, the 61st episode, coming to you from Africa Radio with your Wednesday friend, Ernest Kanjo. Then we have Ngum Ngafor as main guest in this edition of the show. Then we shall make a stopover in Germany, where we're going to meet another young, talented African. Don't just go away, let's keep our fingers crossed as we await to meet this gentleman.
Anokwa yare yo so back hospital bapa na uzanka no de ene se yare na baba e kese o nya baby pa nkamenya me no sisia instantly ankameko he bema ade na kasa yi oja na mama ye ma hye mesa ma hospital aba na so se ba ya mesa be kaminro e ho adwendwe ni o.
That is why I'm here. My discover new pharmacy shop.
Really?
Oh yes, Hope Pharmacy is the name. Hope Pharmacy, a convenient pharmacy to get all your medication medications and pharmaceutical counseling, and many more. Hope Pharmacy, Emma, free prescription pickup and delivery, free vitamins with your prescription order, easy transfer of prescriptions, free medication counseling, fast track prescription service, no wait time. Just say one train cry. Nani kumi cry ni. Hope Pharmacy accept major insurance coverages.
And here's with them.
With them.
With them. Now if I Hope Pharmacy.
Hope Pharmacy, 5791 Cleveland Avenue, Columbus, Ohio, 43231. Obey from Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Telephone 614-426-4160.
And then the course is here.
Hope Pharmacy, your health is our priority.
In Africa, to you. Africa Radio.
Why refugee? Getting handsome, making it sweet. African brothers, man. I'm sorry. I say, twinkle, twinkle, little star. I wonder what you are. Up above the sky, so bright. African diamonds in the sky.
And we have changed the genre. This time we did contemporary music for our young listeners. That one is titled Africa Unite. It's by Kelly Handsome. And of course, you're listening to Africa Radio. The show is African Cocktail with African boy, Ernest Kanjo. And of course, our African girl is at the other side of the globe. She's in the UK. Her name is Ngum Ngafor. Then we shall come back to her just right ahead in this edition of African Cocktail. But then, listen to this one and enjoy it.
It don't really matter who you are. We are black and we're proudly African. See, why not we all come together, put our house together, build a brighter future. It's all up to you and me, and I'm talking to you and me. It's time for the black nation, no time for discrimination. Yeah, say no to procrastination. The time is now for Africa.
He lives in Freiburg, in the southern part of Germany. He is a young, up-and-coming actor. He hails from Nigeria. Nigeria is that country where the film industry has moved a great distance. And of course, this young artist hopes to make it to the apex of the art he knows best. His name is Main Peace. Main Peace is our next guest in this edition of African Cocktail. Just right ahead, we shall be discovering this young African who has great ambitions of excelling in the movie arena. But then, before we get there, Africa Unite is yours. Kelly Handsome.
So get up on your feet, let's start dancing. Oh, how wonderful it is for brothers to come together in love and harmony, singing in one chorus.
Meantime, you can always listen to recorded editions of African Cocktail or recorded versions of African Cocktail online. You can find it on YouTube, you can find it on Facebook. Well, just say social media. And as we talk, the show is being segmented and spread all over social media. That is the handiwork of the guy who has been blessed with dexterous fingers. His name is Ajik Mac. Hey, Ajik Maxell in Germany. He is a great guy. He is a great guy. I mean it. African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio with Ernest Kanjo. Just right ahead, we shall be moving to the southern part of Germany where we're going to meet this young, up-and-coming Nigerian actor. But then just go away. Don't just go away. We have beautiful music as well. This one is titled Fever. African Fever is by Kaki featuring the famous Ghanaian Sarkodie.
Not to the east, to the west, me I bring that fever. Dance out fever, mash up the place with dance out fever. Not to the east, to the west, me I bring that fever. Dance out fever, mash up the place with dance out fever. From Ghana to London, party. Everything set from top to down, all the man them I want it.
A special good evening to all my friends out there in Kumasi, Ghana. I'm also thinking of you listening to African Cocktail in Accra. Then to all my Ghanaian friends in the United Kingdom, I want to say good evening. And if you're just joining us, you're welcome on board the 61st episode of the show. Just right ahead, we shall be moving to Freiburg, the southern region of Germany.
Feeling up to the east, to the west, me I bring that fever. Dance out fever, mash up the place with dance out fever. Not to the east, to the west, me I bring that fever. Dance out fever, mash up the place with dance out fever. Hey. Boom boom fling, pick up, pick up. Boom 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 fling, pick up, pick up. Boom boom fling, pick up, pick up. Boom 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 fling, pick up, pick up.
Just as vast as the great country Nigeria is, that is how widespread are Nigerian actors all over the world. His name is Menpies. He lives in the Federal Republic of Germany, in the southern region of that country. And at exactly 23 minutes to 12, let's take a ride to Germany, precisely in Freiburg, where Menpies is already on the line. So Menpies, welcome to African Cocktail.
Thank you very much.
And so, how is your part of Germany this evening?
Well, actually, it's rather raining right now.
Right.
You know, it's quite crazy. I mean, it's actually supposed to be sunny, but that's Germany for you. You know, it changes from time to time.
Right. And so, Menpies, in our mission of identifying young African actors around the world and bringing them to the limelight, we got in touch with you. So could you tell us who Menpies is?
Well, actually, MPS is a singer, songwriter, producer, actor. Acting was the last I discovered.
Multi-talented.
Thank you.
So, you are in performing arts, you are in music. What inspired you to get into these two domains?
Well, as a child growing up, I used to listen to a lot of New Edition.
Right.
That was my main inspiration into music. And acting was like something I discovered later. You know, I didn't even know I could act. I was actually talked into acting, and found out that that was another part of me.
Right.
That I really loved, and that I didn't even know about.
Great.
And it felt so great.
So, which are some of the movies you featured in so far?
Well, my first movie is a movie called "And the Cola Nut Said No." It's a culture clash movie produced in Germany, which I was the main actor.
Right. That's fantastic. And you recently did Illegal Immigrant, produced and directed by Cameroonian Janet Mani. Tell us, how did you get contacted for this movie?
Well, it's like the saying goes. I mean, we should not always forget our humble beginnings. The producer of Illegal Immigrant saw my first movie, and the Cola Nut Said No, and she just like spotted me out there, and she wrote me an email via my website, mpeaceonline.com, and told me about this character, Frank, in a movie she was about putting together.
Right.
You know, and she said to me she felt like I fit into this character, and I decided to give it a shot.
And in that movie, you work with actors from different parts of Africa, including your country, Nigeria. How was your experience working with these people?
Well, I would rather say it has been so adorable experience. You know, that was so lovely. I mean, there was a lot of artists from all over, and they were all like, you know, cooperating and friendly, and you know, it was kind of nice to like, you know, meet people that you don't really know, and the first time y'all get together, it's just like you know yourself forever. You know, it was a remarkable experience. It was lovely.
Right. And I believe that every African, especially Nigerian, should have dreams of getting to the apex of that country's film industry, which is, of course, the biggest in the continent, and is said to be the second biggest in the world.
Definitely.
So you have ambitions of hitting the apex of Nollywood.
Definitely. I mean, not just Nollywood, and I mean also above.
Right.
Because I mean, what we're doing right now is, I must confess, I mean, it's like, you know, we like putting a lot of work into that, you know, and I mean, like I would say, Illegal Immigrant took us almost about 2 years now shooting that movie, so you could see what I'm talking about.
Right. So, to your music career, what is your genre, and why did you decide to do that genre? Afro hip hop.
Yeah, okay. I mean, like my music career, like, you know, what I do is like I do like R&B, hip hop, reggaeton.
Right.
Smooth it out with some African Afro rhythm, you know. So that's what I do musically.
Right. So, how many albums or singles do you have circulating out there?
Well, right now I have 2 albums to my credit.
Right.
My first album, Heaven the Game, and the newest album right now, Parity Ammo. And from each album, I always like release a single first before I drop it.
And so, when you sing, what types of themes do you exploit?
Well, actually, it depends on how I feel. I mean, like, I like to do conscious music. I mean, in a sense, like, you know, I talk about things that really happen or things that I'm going through in a moment. So it actually depends on how I'm feeling. You know, I touch every kind of area, you know. But most importantly is that, like, every music I put out there has got a message, you know.
You definitely would have had some public performances out there in Germany.
Definitely. I mean, I've had public performances like with a lot of famous artists right here. I mean, even from the States. But I would remember when I like did a group for NSYNC. That was a large, I mean, huge crowd, you know. And I mean, I didn't forget that, you know. And also, like, you know, when I had my my TV live performance with iMusic One. iMusic TV station is one of the major TV stations in Germany, and I had a live show on that TV, you know, and it was like about 24 million viewers. That was really remarkable.
Wow. So, MPs, we are running off this conversation. What is the project you have in the pipeline?
Well, actually, right now I have a video from my newest song from the album Parity Ammo called "Waiting to Love." You know, it's gonna be like hitting the scenes in a couple of months, and it's also one of the soundtracks to Illegal Immigrants movie that's gonna be dropping soon. So it's just like I'm just waiting for that movie to drop, that it all, like, you know, passes together.
Multi-talented MPs, actor, musician, and we know that he has a rich career. Good luck, MPs. Do have a fantastic rest of the day out there in your city, in the southern region of Germany. And of course, this is African Cocktail, coming to you from Africa Radio. We are steadily and gradually moving to the end of this 61st episode of the show. And have you just received your prescriptions from your doctor? Looking for a convenient pharmacy to get all your medications and pharmaceutical counseling, and of course many more? Hope Pharmacy is the right place to go. Hope Pharmacy provides free prescriptions, pickup and delivery, free vitamins with your prescription order, easy transfer of prescriptions, free medication counseling, fast track prescription service, no wait time. Okay, so Hope Pharmacy accepts major insurance coverages. Location 5791 Cleveland Avenue, Columbus, Ohio 43231. or 5791 Cleveland Avenue, Columbus, Ohio 43231. The hours you can get there: Monday to Friday 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Telephone 614-426-4106. 614-426-4106. Hope Pharmacy, your health is our priority. All right, let's have some music. Then we brace to go back to London.
It's like the E on the beat.
Hey, this one na Sara Sara. The beat is tana tana. We go make you manya manya. Ines is in manya manya. Oh yeah, make you ricotta ricotta, mama Africa ricotta. Hey, make you dance yeah, 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 yeah. Everybody ricotta ricotta, mama Africa ricotta. Hey, make you dance yeah, 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 yeah. This one na Sara Sara. The beat is tana tana.
And that one is titled Mama Africa. It's by the legendary Bracket. Legendary. He's young, but I say legendary because he's done great things. He was in the United States of America. I think last week he had a series of concerts here in the States, and he's one of those frontline Nigerian artists. Very talented. And that one is coming to you from Africa Radio. The show is African Cocktail. The edition is the 61st. And of course the day is Wednesday. The date, August the 13th, the year 2014. And of course the host of the show is Ernest Kanjo. Main guest, Ngum Ngafor, who is back on the line. Welcome back.
Thank you, Ernest. You're doing a great job so far.
Okay, so we are about to run off this edition of African Cocktail. But let me find out from you, what impact do you think this magazine has had on its audience since it went operational April this year?
Oh, I think the reception of it has been really positive. Somebody, I'm trying to see if I can actually bring up the tweet for you, but somebody sent me something on Twitter, and I think they had just found me, they stumbled upon Africally Speaking somehow, and they just liked the name, so they followed me. And then she said to me she liked my name, so she followed me. But then when she read my timeline and sort of things that we were putting out on Africally Speaking, she was really glad she followed. And to me, that was, a really nice thing to say. And then just recently I found out from this 13-year-old that her mother actually gets her to read every single thing that we publish because she thinks it's important. And for this child to turn around and say to me that she wants to be like me when she grows up, I couldn't get any better endorsement. But emotional stuff aside, I've had people say this is really good because now I know what goes on in other African countries. It's informative, and that is exactly what I wanted people to get out of Africally Speaking.
Now, that fan of yours who says she wants to be like you when she grows up may just be ignorant about what you go through running this whole thing. I would imagine that you have lots of challenges, just like in any other project.
Yeah, absolutely. The challenges are tremendous. Initially, as you would know, Ernest, trying to run a media business, we've talked about this before. It is something that, it's financially demanding. So you need money to do this thing and get your vision out there. And you don't always have as much money as you want, so you really stretch yourself. So that's the first thing. And then also time, because I still work full time. So it's, finding the time to do this and really having to organize myself, which is a tall order for me, right? So doing these things is not easy, but, we find ways to do them. And so, I just get on with it.
Ngum, we're in 2014. 5 years from now, it will be 2019. Where do you expect to see Africally Speaking?
Oh my God, first of all, I'll be almost 40. And actually need to sit down and think about it. So I think Africally Speaking for me, the dream is to get it to that point where I have a bigger team, people. I believe in the power of diversity, so different writers with different perspectives, still focusing on innovation, but developing it to more interesting and exciting topics about Africa. Hopefully, moving on to a more multimedia sort of focus. So those are my big dreams for Africally Speaking at the moment.
Now, there are countless Cameroonian online publications to a point where you really get lost when you want to, browse all over.
Yeah.
How would you assess this sector? Is it booming?
Well, if you're looking just in terms of what's going out there, not even looking at the money, then yes, and I'm very glad about that, because I remember a few years ago a friend actually saying to me, look, I'm trying to find blogs about Cameroon online and just nothing about Cameroon in general, and it was very difficult for us to find anything. I remember Debussy Tande, I have to thank very much. He publishes this blog called Scribbles from the Den, and he's one of the pioneers really, and I think he gave us, the younger generation, a lot of courage to go ahead and do what we do. So yes, there was a time when it was just Debussy and a handful of people blogging, but now, you know, the blogosphere has sort of exploded with all these Cameroonian blogs, and I'm very thankful for it. I think in terms of output, you can say there's a boom, but how this is translating into money, I'm not really sure, but I'm sure even that will come.
Right. I'm talking about content, style, and even glamour. How can you assess Cameroonian sites? Do you think there is something which needs to be done to improve on what people are already doing?
Yes, I think so. I think while there is diversity, I'd like to see a little bit more diversity. It's natural that a lot of young people will gravitate towards entertainment and fashion. You know, I'm thinking of myself as a teenager. I was exactly like that. So, but I think even when people do that, sometimes people forget that this is a medium now to be really creative. Blogs are no more just that little thing that you play about with. So even if you're going to write about something that everybody is writing about, you can put your own stamp on it. You don't always have to copy and paste. I've done some PR work in the past, and I remember, you know, writing press releases and giving them to bloggers, and I have to say not just Cameroonian bloggers, and people would literally copy and paste your press release, and so you go to one blog, it's exactly the same as the other. So that doesn't speak much for you as a blogger if you want to grow. If it's just something you're doing as, you know, some sort of relief from your work or whatever, that's fine. But a lot of bloggers now are getting business-minded. So if you're going to be like that, then you have to, you know, really craft your own unique style and, you know, do the best you can with it. And then also, you know, there are two kinds of blogs you can be. You can be that sort of provocative person who gets off on controversy, and that's how you get your readers. Something like Linda Ikeji, I think, does that sort of thing, and she does it well for people who are inclined to read those type of blogs. But also it's good to fact check, you know, so just don't spread rumors. People follow these things and they take them seriously, so a bit more responsible writing is necessary.
It's good to fact check. Very important. Her name is Ngum Ngafor. You are not leaving us yet. Just stay on the line. We'll be back with you to run off this very interesting conversation. And to you listening out there, are you finding a place that is good to shop for all your family foodstuffs? Now, this is the answer. A live African market is the solution. A live African market is one-stop shop that sells fresh farm produce at cheaper prices. Now, shop for plantain, chicken, fish, meat, fufu, yam, and many more. They also provide money transfer, calling cards, beauty products. Location 4384. Cleveland Avenue behind CVS at junction of Morse Road and Cleveland Avenue. I take it again, 4384 Cleveland Avenue behind CVS Pharmacy at junction of Morse Road and Cleveland Avenue. Time Monday to Saturday 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. And if you want to get to a live African market, you simply have to press your fingers on 614-414-0330 614-414-0330. A live African market. Eat fresh, spend less. So, Ngum, we are about to run off this conversation. When you are not doing Africally Speaking and when you are not on your full-time job, what are you doing?
Oh, what am I doing? I am a huge fan of music, okay? So I listen to a lot of music. I'm always on Spotify or whatever trying to check out what the latest thing is. When I can get the time, because increasingly it's hard, I love to read. I am a very big fan of African literature and African American literature. Just anything in the African diaspora I love. I'm also increasingly liking poetry. There is a really fantastic Cameroonian writer and poet whom I must get everybody to read. She's called Viola Allo.
Right.
And you can just Google her, and Allo is spelled A-L-L-O. She writes the most amazing poems which a lot of us as Africans can relate to. So yeah, I also love the theater, so I always go to the theater. And because it's the summer now, we have so many festivals, and it rarely is sunny in England. I don't waste the sunshine, so I've been out a lot at festivals.
So quickly, what kind of music do you listen to?
I listen to all kinds of music. I have a very eclectic taste, but I have to say my favorite music in the world is Makossa. You know, all these genres will come and go. I love my Coupé de Calais and everything, but I have to say Makossa for me is the best music in the whole wide world.
Right. Ngum, earlier on I ran my mouth to ask you if you always take off some time to prepare achu without even asking if achu is your favorite Cameroonian traditional delicacy.
Okay, well, my parents would probably kill me for this. My ancestors may not like this. But as much as I love achu, but it's not really my favorite dish. My favorite dish is koki corn, which for people who are not Cameroonian is a really lovely spicy cake made out of fresh corn. Right. It's just the most amazing dish in the world. You have to try it.
Right, and so what do you hope for this continent, Africa? Lots and lots of problems, disease, war. What do you hope for Africa, Ngum?
Oh God, I think my hope for Africa is that we gain the confidence to really realize what we can be, because I think when you go back to it, the core of our problems is confidence. A lot of the time Africans don't believe in themselves, and that's why we have the wrong people running things, or people in power who don't actually even believe in the continent. So I really, really hope that we can believe, first of all. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I do Africally Speaking, because I hope that when people see what Africans like them are doing, then they begin to believe that these things are possible. So firstly, I think if we have confidence, we will have the drive to really excel, okay, and just really challenge ourselves and come out of our comfort zone. So that will bring peace, that will bring prosperity. And you know, for me, the day, even if I'm not alive, the day that an African child doesn't have to leave any country in Africa to come to Europe or America for school, or doesn't have to store their way through a plane or pay somebody to smuggle them into Europe, the day that our kids will just kind of backpack in Europe or America because they're 18 and feeling lost, you know, and just want to do it for the hell of it, that day, whether I'm dead or alive, I think I'll be a very happy person.
Wow, Ngum, score yourself on 10.
That's very hard.
Right. So thank you so much for accepting to be main guest in this edition of African Cocktail. I hope that when next we knock at your door, you're definitely going to open it for us.
Oh, I'll definitely be there. It's been an amazing time talking to you. It's been a great show. I really appreciate everything you do. I have learned so much today. You know, Africans in Germany, in America, the effort with Ebola. It's just been such a diverse, wonderful show. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm really grateful that there are people out there like you.
And it is thanks to the Almighty God that this great show happens on Africa Radio. Thank you so much, Ngum. She was the main guest in this edition of African Cocktail, publisher of Africally Speaking magazine. She lives in the UK. And for those of you who listened to the show, thank you so much. And at exactly 1 minute to 12, we put a full stop to this 61st episode of African Cocktail. This day, Wednesday, August the 13th, 2014. It was a very big and dynamic team that kept you company on this show this day. African Kitchen Manager Susan A.A., Belgian correspondent Titus Banyo, Germany correspondent Maxwell Ajik, who has already been placing segments of this very interesting show online. And of course, I would invite you to go to YouTube, go to Facebook. You will definitely listen to this edition of African Cocktail. If you did miss or need, then South Africa correspondent Solomon Atta, Central African correspondent Ifana Kwala, who will join us next week. African Tele Review, Crystal Beauty of the Crystal Beauty Show, resource person number 1, Kenneth Ngamne, resource person number 2, Solomon Koyate, resource person number 3, Matthew Ayon, content critic, The White Brokery, production collaboration, Crystal Beauty, African Cocktail online banner, Ajik Maxwell, Bo Boateng, guest at large. We had Susie Okom, we had MP, special guest, we had Sienna, who was speaking from Douala, Cameroon, then main guest, Ngum Ngafor of Africally Speaking. Collaboration, Big Bo, Gentle, Awal Mohammed, DJ Cash, Mayo Makinde, Saran, KK, Coordination, Nana Ampem, Davis Ode, Hello. And of course, my name is Ernest Kanjo, regular host of the show, asking you to join me again next week for yet another edition of African Cocktail. And until we meet next Wednesday, it is bye-bye, ciao. Au revoir, merci, I'm gone. See you then. To God be the glory.